All right, so let's move on to drug policy. Do you support the war on drugs?
You know, I think the war on drugs, I think if by that you mean kind of the approach that says impose really excessive penalties and don't invest in treatment or legalization, I guess is another approach. I think the war on drugs has been a failure. I've seen what it's led to in terms of incarceration, in terms of addiction and substance abuse. And so I don't think it's been successful, and I think we have too many people in our prisons who are there for nonviolent crimes related to substance abuse that intervention and treatment would have been much more successful.
So would you support decriminalizing or legalizing medical and recreational marijuana?
Yes.
All the way up to legalizing recreational marijuana?
You know, I certainly support medical marijuana. I think that's easy. I think decriminalization makes sense. I'd have to do some more thinking about legalization.
You mean small amounts?
I don't,
2.5 ounces.
Yeah. I don't know. I think, I think you can make the argument that the use of alcohol and the resulting consequence of that is more dangerous.
And cigarettes.
And cigarettes. And I think so long as you always think about ways, which we currently have for alcohol, presumably, to limit the way people can use it and then engage in dangerous activities like driving a car and the same kinds of things. I think so long as you had those same kinds of protections, it's going to be treated the same.
All right, so about alcohol, do you support allowing states to lower their drinking ages without losing any federal highway funds?
No. I don't think states should lower their drinking age. Now, I'm not a drinker, so this might be personal. I think there's enough evidence that alcohol's effect on brain development, that having an age under which you can't drink, whether it's 18 or 21, I have less concern about that, but I would be concerned that people would do it below that.
So you might be okay with lowering it to 18?
Yeah, I think I don't have problems on, but I wouldn't want states to have the freedom to do anything below an adult. Because I do think there's science that says you don't want to.
But lowering it to 18 would be fine.
Yeah, when you're 18 and you can vote and get drafted, you should pretty much have all your rights.
Yes.
Period.
And so you touched on this earlier. How do you feel about reducing sentences for nonviolent drug offenders?
I think this is, an area in which we have tremendous evidence that our current system has failed in terms of, again, making investments in prevention and interventions that will result in people not being in prison. We have lots of examples of, again, it's very similar to healthcare in that way, that you invest in prevention and wellness and give people opportunities to be successful in their lives. They're much less likely to end up in prison, and the cost of, being in prison is, 100-fold, not 10-fold. I saw this when I was in the General Assembly. There was always a willingness to make additional investments in prison construction and, more room at the training school for kids. Yet it was much more difficult to get people to invest in youth development programs and prevention programs, even though the cost of that is a fraction of it. Part of that, I think, is because the way our system operates is, we have annual budgets, and the people who pay for those two things are sometimes different entities. One might be the federal government, one might be the state government, one might be a municipality, and so people think, well, that's not my money. But if you look at it, we would develop a very different system that front-loaded lots more investments in education and prevention and healthy youth development initiatives and after-school programs, and all those things that make it much less likely that people end up in prisons and training schools. So I think we have to be much smarter about the way we do that.